Well, guys, I keep thinking about it and I still don't get it. I've been driving for many hours on this wonderful trip we're taking to the heart of the World Cup, to Dallas. There we were with the family. This part of the trip is very important. Soon you'll see why. But traveling from Florida to Texas, from Miami to Dallas, arriving at a wonderful place like New Orleans, I haven't had time to see it all. We haven't gone through the city, but on the way back we will stop and enjoy such a special place as New Orleans, especially because we have to hurry, since the show is about to start. The opening day of the World Cup, which is about to happen, as you're watching this, it's going to be tomorrow, right? We're already starting this Wednesday, June 10th. The World Cup begins on the 11th, and that's when we do our first show on TV on this American channel, where we'll be reporting for these 40 days, but also on this channel with the usual content, which won't be missing. And like I said, I was thinking because today, of course, it's been like, how much driving have we done today? Well, driving about 7 hours, but with stops and all, in total, a little over 10 hours. And I kept thinking about it, like there must be something there that I haven't noticed, neither me nor a lot of people. But the oracles, those Florentinists who always understand everything and who tell the rest of us mortals, they tell us nothing. You don't get it, it's a master plan, it's genius, but why? You'll see. Well, we'll see. I really hope that in a few days this leads to something. It has to lead to something. I mean, it's not enough for me, really. When I mention these Florentinist oracles and those who always justify everything Florentino and Real Madrid do, since Florentino has led Real Madrid for 26 years, right? With a break, that one of 3 years, but everything he does has a purpose and everything is well done. Well, because of that, they're never going to give you credit. Maybe there was something that wasn't planned well, because if not, they fall to the ground. They collapse, they fall to the ground and faint, right? But the rest of us Real Madrid fans won't settle for just he did it to raise the price that Barça would pay for Julián Alvarez. That's some consolation for a team like Real Madrid, which needs important signings. They're doing very well in defense. Dan Fries with Atletico, perfect. The coach, of course, Mourinho was there last night. He was there yesterday in Madrid. I imagine today they'll announce when he'll be presented and all that, and we'll be watching closely. But of course, they're missing people in the midfield. And it turns out we've made an offer of more than 150 million for a guy who plays up front. And now we'll talk a little more about it, but it seems that we're not really going after him seriously. Well, the only thing Real Madrid fans and members should be happy about, as I see it, is that in the end, someone comes, a guy who's worth that, 150 million, because it's clear that Madrid has the money. They've already offered that for Julián, and the summer will go by, and we're not going to offer another 150 million for anyone else. Because Julián, it seems, well, he's not coming, or it looks like he's not coming. And what's more, we don't need him. We need a footballer, a midfielder, or does the Real Madrid fan, I insist, just settle for the fact that haven't we taken him away from Barça? Well, not even that, because that would be fine. We've taken him away from Atleti and Barça, right? No, we've prevented Barça from getting him, and now someone else will take him because we've made the price higher for Barça. But what nonsense is that? What nonsense is that? What kind of master plan is that? Now, if weeks go by, and it turns out that this move, like that butterfly, the one that flaps its wings in China, and there's a hurricane on the other side of the world, and it turns out that thanks to that we get someone else from another club who actually meets Real Madrid's needs in key positions. Then you say, well, hold on, maybe that did make sense, and maybe it was connected. Another master move by Florentino. But linking one thing to the other, to me, it doesn't seem right. Or that in the end you actually get Julián for more money. It's going to have to be that way, even if you don't need him as much as a midfielder, but hey, you got him. And you say, okay, but just leaving it at, no, that was the point. Sorry, that was the point. When Florentino Perez came out the other day as a reaction, because they're going to tell me no, but it was as a reaction to what happened the day before, about Enrique Riquelme promising Haaland. And after making such an important announcement, which Florentino had to read, by the way, about the biggest offer in Real Madrid's history, are we going to end up not making it happen? With no one? But how are the defenders of the indefensible going to explain this? Sorry, but how will they do it? I just can't. I don't know. I don't understand anything. Between those who will unsubscribe from the channel and those who will hit dislike, well, I hope that before they leave me a comment and explain it to me, really. Explain it to me. But careful, it could happen that I insist I have to eat my words and that you remind me of this video later on and say, look, it was for this. Well, that's perfect, but I'm not saying that this is already over. I actually hope it doesn't end, because as a member of Real Madrid and as a Real Madrid fan, I hope this comes to a good conclusion. Whoever it is, but that it results in a player we need for the money that Florentino said Real Madrid was going to offer, because in theory we have it, which is 150 million or more. Anything less than that would disappoint me. But I repeat, Florentino's oracles, the people, the die-hard loyalists and so on, it seems like they're going to be satisfied with this. Well, look. Leave your thoughts in the comments. There was another topic I wanted to talk about before going to sleep because I'm exhausted. Well, yes, Rafa Juste showed up, who is still the president of Barça until Laporta takes over in July, to say, and here, absolutely, here with my president and my club, as it couldn't be any other way, right? To say that they are going to file a complaint against Florentino Perez and Real Madrid, and that, of course, the badge doesn't get stained, or the Barça badge doesn't get stained, he says. Or it doesn't get trampled on or something like that. And this is when I have to calm down a bit to explain myself. But you guys are shameless. You were the ones who did it. Up to 4 presidents in a row for 20 years paying the second in command of the referees. Something you weren't allowed to do. Not even because of a law that made this expire, unfortunately. Nor because of the ethics that are expected from a club that is competing with other clubs at a national level. What's this about paying the referees second in command? And that Barça would have been sanctioned if that law hadn't expired, if they hadn't let it expire, by the way. If the Federation's code of ethics hadn't been clearly and secretly changed, which is another thing, and if the league, the Federation, and a government body like the CSD, if all of them together hadn't created that favorable scenario so that Barça could be saved or wouldn't be allowed to fall, Barça would have been sanctioned administratively and also in sports. Having been relegated, UEFA wouldn't have invited them to the next Champions League or the one after that or the one after that at least, and the story would have been different. But no. Everything was done to prevent that from happening. With UEFA being annoyed like, hey, what is this? Wait a minute, Laporta went to Sweet Talk Ceferin in Slovenia to have a meal with him to tell him, wait, at least let the judicial process, which is going another way, the criminal route, continue. And that's different. Barça must be prosecuted as a legal entity there. But, of course, what about the indicted presidents, those who are within that period in which this is covered by the penal code, classified as sports corruption? Because Laporta, it must always be said as well, he escapes indictment and he sold it as a victory, because what Laporta did, quadrupling the payments to Negreira, was before 2010. And this crime is classified in the Spanish Penal Code, sports corruption, starting from 2010. I think I'm saying it correctly. That's why Laporta is not indicted. But I insist, Barcelona as a legal entity, Presidents Roussel and Bartomeu as presidents who paid Negreira, and then the other witnesses in this case because they couldn't be indicted, Gaspar and Laporta. One of them started the payments in theory, although they say it was Núñez, and the other one quadrupled those payments. Let Barça and those responsible pay, but the administrative route is exhausted since the statute of limitations has expired. But ethically, with the path Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo has opened up, and all of us who have more or less followed him, we've helped him as much as we could. Through the Royal Spanish Football Federation, and then UEFA, and then FIFA. And what Florentino is telling us, that this dossier is also being sent to UEFA and FIFA, that in the future, in the short or medium term, this could cost Barça a sanction and punishment. I think that's going to happen. But on top of that, for the current president of Barça, Rafael Juste, to come out and say something, to say that the Barcelona crest cannot be trampled on, that Madrid is doing it, that Florentino is doing it, when you were the ones who did it, no one forced you. No one forced you to pay the deputy chief of referees. Did you do it because of your inferiority complex? Historically, you believe Madrid was doing it, so you did it too. You were caught red-handed, even trying to write off the payments. It's unbelievable. And this, even though we are now immersed in this whole process, coming out of the election campaign, the failure to sign him, this strange offer for Julián Alvarez, etc., 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 and all this mess we've had in the last few weeks, all this about Barça, we have to keep talking about it and denouncing it. Anyway, well, that's it. Today we'll arrive in Dallas, like I said, and we'll be there for the next few days. With the TV show and with the videos on this channel, which are going to be very colorful, we're going to be with the fans. I have a little surprise for a Portugal match in Houston, which is going to be, well, no, I don't want to get ahead of myself because I don't want to mess it up, but it could be something wonderful. Nice match. Cristiano's match, by the way, the last World Cup Cristiano is going to play. And maybe I'll be at a match that could be historic with the presence of Cristiano, and more surprises that we'll have soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.